Hi, everyone. It is Katie Hagan here, a volunteer with Flight Club 502. I'm interviewing Taylor Hoover, who was our raffle winner for our spring raffle. So we're really excited to hear from him today. Hey, Taylor.
Hey, Katie, how's it going?
It's going good. So tell us about your experience. What was it like when you learned that you won the airplane?
It's probably like a dream coming true of like actually winning an airplane. Like all I like I couldn't believe it when it happened. Being on St. Patrick's Day, that's when the raffle was. It was kind
Yep.
of like I'd say it was the luck of the Irish sort of. So we were
Yeah.
out like with my family and kind of having partying and stuff for St. Patrick's Day, and told my family I think I won an airplane. They're like, no, no, you didn't. I'm like, yes, I think I literally won an airplane on St. Patrick's Day. So kind of like a huge whirlwind of winning it, getting it, and then actually flying it. So it was awesome.
That's really cool. So do you have your pilot's license then?
So I can kind of give you my little life story. So
Yeah,
my
please.
my background's actually I live here near or I'm from Erie, Pennsylvania. I went to school at Penn State Aerospace Engineering. I got my master's in aerospace engineering. I worked at a bunch of different so I worked at Bell Helicopters. I worked at Boeing for 6 years, and
Wow.
so I kind of lived in St. Louis. I lived in Charleston. I lived in Philly. I lived in LA. I lived in Fort Worth, Dallas, Texas. I've kind of moved around the country and following the aerospace industry. And about 2020, my wife and I were living in Philly for 3 years, I was working for Boeing, and we're both from Erie, high school sweethearts, and we both wanted to get back to the Erie, all our families there, and we kept talking about how are we going to do it. So we actually bought an old like an Airstream trailer, remodeled it. Hit in 2020 with COVID, I got a voluntary layoff. She finished her master's, hit the road for 6 months, came back, surprised my family on Christmas. Hey, I'm
Oh,
here back in Erie. And kind of, we accidentally bought a house there and we started
wow.
like that. So it's kind of whole new job shift of like actually not having a job. And then we moved back to Erie. Part of that was my family has a real estate rental property business,
Mhm.
and I've been investing with my family. I've grown up with it, and my dad's looking to retire, so he's always been looking at me, hey, when are you coming back, what you're doing? And
Yeah.
I had a good job being an aerospace engineer. There really was no need to go do. I was doing my own thing, but now being back in Erie, having a house with family, I started working for the family business. So going from
Wow.
aerospace engineering to I say landlord real estate investor, kind of a big change, short of shift, but I've always grown up with it and working with people. It's kind of the same thing. But part of the deal was like, so I was doing that. I think I started like in like March of 2021. Yeah, 2021. And
Mhm.
I've been doing it for like 6 months. I was like, well, Dad, like, I have all these degrees and in aerospace engineering. Like, I'd like to be around aircraft. So I've always wanted to get my pilot's license. And I kind of grew up like flying RC airplanes.
Yeah.
In college, I worked on building a human powered airplane in a class I was in. We actually flew it.
Whoa.
And then I was going to say, I was working on a new development of helicopter called the JMR Defiant. It's the Black Hawk replacement for the Army. And I was on the team long enough, and I was kind of, I'd say last man standing, but probably one of the most qualified. I became the guy to walk. I became the person to walk through people through our flight simulator. So we would go to trade shows and walking through a
Whoa.
lieutenant colonel or one-star general of this is why you want to buy this, this is why you want this aircraft to do these missions. This is why you would want to buy it. So I have hundreds of hours of messing around on flight simulators. So me getting my pilot's license, I just always wanted to do it. I never had like the time or the money or really the driven to go do it. But now being away from aerospace, I decided, hey, I want to go get my pilot's license. I'm back in Erie. Let's go do it. So I started taking pilot lessons in like October 2021,
Yeah.
and progressing pretty quick. I actually like soloed in like 7 hours, like which is like my instructor like I
Whoa.
don't actually tell people like you're ready to go. I was like, well, I kind of know what I'm doing. And then I told her
Yeah.
my whole life story. Like, okay, that
I've
makes
been
sense.
here before.
Yeah. So like to me, the flying is easy. It's everything else with piloting of like
Oh,
navigating the aircraft, talking to ATC, and that's the part that I more stress about. But the flying the aircraft, that's like piece of cake. So
wow.
anyway, started to get my pilot's license and like middle of January, kind of like looking like saying like, well, I'm getting pretty close get my pilot's license. I think I was at like 30 hours, and my instructor's like, yeah, you're ready to take your test. You just need to go check the boxes, get your hours. But then it was ski season, so I went on a bunch of ski trips, and it was bad weather in Erie, didn't fly as much. But part of that, I was getting a pilot's license. I need something to do with it. Like it's just like if I get it, I don't want to like will run an airplane. I'd like to own an airplane. So I've been looking on Barnstormer of trying to figure
Okay.
out how to buy a cheap airplane, kind of the Craigslist of airplanes. And I was looking at like experimentals, or I was actually flying a Cessna 150 when my instructor, like as I learned, I was looking at one of those because they're kind of fairly cheap and fairly cheap to get into an airplane. And I saw the raffle. I was like, like I saw the date was St. Patrick's Day. I was like, oh, it has to be lucky. I have to do it. So I think I entered it. It was like middle of January, entered the ticket. I didn't tell my wife for a bit that I did this. And then maybe a week before, so I entered a raffle on St. Patrick's Day, like a week before. I was like, I may or may not win. She's like, yes, Taylor, I enter the raffles. I'm the person for car raffles, for like boat raffles, airplane, like now airplane raffles. I'll enter anything because you never know. Someday I might win.
Yeah.
But anyways, I was getting pretty close with being able to take my check ride. And St. Patrick's Day happened. I won an airplane. And then like 2 weeks later, I know they were trying to get the airplane to me because they're sitting outside and there are tornadoes going on. So 2 weeks later, they kind of brought the airplane, flew it up to me. So I got the airplane on a Tuesday. On that same day, I like never had an airplane before. So figuring out how to get insurance, get a hangar, kind of pay for
Right.
it to get it being a raffle. And then that Saturday, I was really busy with like work and kind of weather wasn't that Saturday. I took it up by myself, flew around, kind of did the route, like kind of like a mid-sized cross country, went to different like the uncontrolled towers, land, practice it, come back, like probably like a 2-hour flight. And then that Monday, I took my check ride in my own airplane and passed. So it's been
That's
a whirlwind of
crazy.
adventure of like this whole story. And then I tell all my friends, my family, like they can't believe that like I won an airplane. So
You're the guy that actually won the
yes,
airplane.
yeah,
Yeah, you're lucky. Yeah. Okay. So you got your pilot's license in the Cessna 150 that you won in the raffle,
yeah.
right?
I took a check ride in the Cessna 150
Oh
that
my
so
gosh.
I got my. Yeah.
That's so
So
cool. Do you think that the Cessna is a good plane to learn how to fly in?
I do. I think it's really easy, forgiving. You really can't get in too much trouble with them. So I actually started flying with a Piper, a different flight school, but then I followed my instructor to this other flight school, and then we started flying Cessna 150. And it's like, oh, this is way easier to fly. Not much of a handful.
Yeah.
I say very docile, and like, and for me, it's like cheap to fly. Right. That's like I'm under 30 and I have other things going on in my life. So being out an airplane that's affordable is a big thing.
It's huge. So where have you taken the Cessna that you won?
So I've like, so I say life happens. I've been really busy. I try to fly this like once a week and go
Yeah.
out and fly. So I up here in Erie, live along the lake. So I've done a lot of like
Mhm.
evening cruising flights along the lake shore, seeing the sunsets,
Oh, that's
go
so pretty.
down. And then we have like a cottage and a cabin like down in the Allegheny, so in the middle of the woods. So we've done flights over properties we own and just kind of fly around. And we've been talking about trying to actually plan a trip and a getaway and go with it. So it's
Oh
something
my
that is,
gosh.
yeah, as a new pilot, I'm a little nervous about doing it, but at the same time, I have the ability and the means. I just need to go do it. So
You definitely should. And you should come tell us about it at Flight Club too. We want to
yes.
know. Okay, tell me what the most exciting thing is about each flight that you take. It probably depends on where you're going, who's with you, and everything. But what do you think? What's the most exciting part about flying your own airplane?
So I think probably the coolest thing for me is really actually the ownership of the airplane. So
Yeah.
like, so in Erie, it's a small town. We have the Erie International Airport, which I don't think we get international flights anymore, but it's a like 8,000 foot runway, pretty big runway. And like, I grew up like going on trips. Well, now I have like a badge. So go to the gate, I badge through, I drive through my car to my own hangar and then roll my airplane and go. And it's just kind of that whole
Wow.
process of that. I think it's just amazing. Like
So
never
legit.
thought never thought in my life would have like, I get my private license. I think maybe like 5-10 years, maybe I can convince like we should go buy an airplane or something like that. But
Yeah.
it's really stepped it up and provided this opportunity to me to have that sort of I say opportunity and lifestyle to be able to go do that. I think it's so cool.
Yeah. That's amazing. We're so glad you did. We have a raffle coming up this fall in September. Flight Club is hosting their second raffle this year. We haven't announced which plane we're giving away yet or selling yet, but tell people why they should buy a raffle ticket. What do you think?
So I personally bought a Raffle because I wanted an airplane. to be straight up. But after winning the airplane and actually like, I didn't actually watch the live feed because I never thought I would actually win the thing. And after winning, I went back and watched the whole hour video of the raffle and
Yeah.
everything that Flight Club stands for. And I was always for like, like giving back, like volunteering and giving back to charities. I think it's great. But the one thing that I really liked was, so like I worked for Boeing and actually was involved a lot of like the STEM outreach with the company. I was a young engineer, volunteered a bunch of like STEM education events of trying to get people excited about aviation, get people excited about engineering. And I think what you guys are doing with Flight Club is awesome. Like if I could have signed up, if Flight Club was in Erie, I would have been like all over it. So I think it's you're supporting a great organization that provides great opportunities for kids, right? It's just awesome.
Absolutely. So. Yeah, we have a lot of core values. You can learn more about them at flightclub502.org. Like Taylor said, we will live stream the past raffle announcement, and we will live stream the second raffle announcement that will be
make sure you watch it. You never know if you're going to win.
Make sure you watch it. If you do buy a raffle ticket, we hope you do. Please keep up with your email. I will be sending out links to the Facebook Live and everything like that. So we're really looking forward to it and we're excited. So thank you so much, Taylor, for your time and for telling us your story. I know it's inspiring a lot of young aviation lovers.
You never know, you might win. So.
That's right. You might win. Buy a ticket.